Yeah, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's perfect. No, it's perfect live. Yeah, it's not.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Sorry, there was some feedback from the video.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So you're spending a month out there visiting your son. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, my kid is out here with their partner. I'm in Portland. It's it's sunny out today. Says right there, sun. Get lighting here. Yeah, sunshine. Yesterday was crappy. I lived here for 2 years, about 20 years ago. Not so much, not my favorite place to live.
No, but you're going to spend some time there before you head on to Spain. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very curious about your decision to move to Spain. I want to hear all about it.
Oh my gosh. The all about it might just be you and me over like, a virtual cocktail brawl. But this is like a 5-year plan that my husband and I hashed out exactly 5 years ago. We set our mind to something, and it just through all the pain and misery and humiliation and frustration and questioning of self and moments of joy, we made it happen. So the decision was, I grew up in the East Bay, so you can't see it, but I am wearing my Ruthie's In shirt today. I grew up in the East Bay, and it's really hard to live anywhere else. It's really, really hard. It does something to you. Berkeley's weird. That's where I grew up. Berkeley and San Francisco and Oakland. And I don't know. The place does something to you. And I could probably define it better if I have some more coffee. But, I've lived in a lot of places, from just moving around college, graduate school. And then also my parents moved me around a lot, but they moved me around the East Bay and also New York for a time. And everywhere I went, the only other place I ever felt like rooted was New York City. And I think that's because I spent a good deal of my life growing up there because my dad's from New York and he moved there when I was little. And so I was there a lot. And otherwise, like I've lived all over California, LA, far north. I've lived in Seattle for 6 years. Didn't like it. Love the people. I have some friends, but yeah, just not a good fit. Portland was a terrible fit for me. And so that was part of it, because we're getting priced out of the Bay Area. Like everybody is. Can't afford to live there anymore. It's ridiculous. Like it's insane. It's like so expensive. It's been like this for years. That's no secret. And it's also, there's no way to you can't move to New York, unless you're independently wealthy. So we were thinking about where could we go in the world that we could afford to live and afford to travel back and see our kids or fly our kids out, and they're all adults now. And, have access to our friends that wouldn't break the bank, that we could like socially navigate and realistically, like culturally navigate. And we narrowed it down to first, we thought of Belize. That was like our first year because it's like this old hippie artist community there of expats and a bunch of anarchists. I'm like, I could totally live there. But we're getting older, and I don't want to break a hip in 25 years and then have to like get on a helicopter to Dallas to have it like handled. So that nixed that, Central America and South America. And so then we started thinking about Europe, and we narrowed it down to Portugal and Spain, and we traveled there. And we had all these different towns on the map that we wanted to go to. And before we even went there, I knew we were going to move to La Herradura, or as the locals call it, La Herradura. Sort of like mumble and like leave out entire words and letters in the South. It's funny. Anyway, they drop their R's or they drop their S's or something weird like that. Anyway, I've been told I'm learning the wrong Spanish. So that's fine. Anyway, that's the very digested version without all the like the pain points. We just ended up in this little village that the climate is not dissimilar from the East Bay, from the Bay Area. It's gorgeous, except for that it doesn't freeze. So we have mangoes growing on our property. It doesn't freeze. Awesome. And it's on the coast. My husband can go into the ocean and do his diving thing. I can go into the woods and lose myself and not be around people and just go like hide in the woods for a week at a time when I need to. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And we both have our jobs. So that's the other thing too, because we're not retiring there. There you go. There's your 4-minute condensed version.
That's a big decision to move out of the country. That's very brave. Very brave. I commend you for that.
We can't stay here. Yeah, we can't stay in California. There's no way. We sold our house, which was a house big enough for like a big ass family, and now we're not a big ass family. It's just me and him. And
Yeah.
so even the cat left. We went with our daughter. So yeah, we just, in order to like sell our house, we were going to move into like a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom since we both work at home. Small house, little cottage in Berkeley. It's inaccessible. We would spend all our money, all of it. All of our money would be spent on a house, every penny. So
Yeah.
California.
Yeah. It's funny because I live in Illinois, and outside of Chicago, Chicago is expensive, but once you get out of Chicago, housing is really, really, really affordable, which for Illinois is surprising. But that's one thing here I can say is housing is really affordable here. And it's fun, you mentioned New York. Andrew is originally from New York. So you and Andrew could talk about
I love New York.
what you love about New York.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, hey, this time next year, I'll be in New York for like a week and a half visiting my dad. You can meet me there. I will show you all my favorite haunts are like not there anymore, but
yeah.
you can go there and be like, this used to be.
Yeah. Andrew, that's one thing that you mentioned, that New York's not the same anymore, which I guess.
Yeah, it's I would always joke when I would go back to visit friends. I don't really have very many friends that still are there. So I was part of one of the waves of exoduses that happened, and then subsequently there've been more. But I remember walking in the old neighborhood, and it's like every third place is a make your own salad bar. It just doesn't all of the old like culturally relevant places that I used to love to go to were all gone, and it just doesn't remind me of home anymore. So, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I lived. The last time I lived there, I think, was 2011. So it's been a decade. So a lot has changed.
Yeah.
But even in the end, I lived in Astoria. So I was.
That's where my dad used to live. They live in Forest Hills now, but they live.
Okay. Yeah. I lived in a bunch of different neighborhoods. I think probably from like 2003 to 2011. And that I think is still pretty diverse cultural. That was sort of like the last place you could go to where it would still be really multicultural and very much its own place. But and I think I still have one group of friends that are living there, but I'm sure it's probably changed a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also, like Heather, I tip my cap. Moving to Spain sounds like a wonderful adventure. So while you're there, is the show going to continue?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. we actually have a house there, and so I've been there for months at a time already, and I've streamed from there. So yeah,
Gotcha. That's
getting
great.
my second Spanish metal show together.
Cool. Yeah, there's a pretty, I have a friend who's there who's teaching right now with her family. And, she's always talking about how wonderful it is. Just every day is like a new thing. But also
Yeah. Where does she
music.
live?
I don't know. I know she's teaching at like an international school. I'm not sure where it is.
She's teaching English?
She's teaching English.
Yeah.
And but I sometimes will stumble across some really great, metal bands from Spain or Portugal. So I think you'll probably find a really great niche of, undiscovered talent.
Oh, I already have.
Grajo.
Dude, they are awesome.
Are they
Yeah,
awesome? Yeah.
there's so many amazing. I mean, there's like this big I don't want to say if it's a resurgence, but there's this whole like all across Europe, in Russia, it's massive, right? Where there's all these bands that's kind of like capturing this new wave of British heavy metal sound, this like old school metal, and there's some badass ones in Spain. And then there's, y'all know I do the Hot Flash Friday show. My favorite show. Used to be called Time of the Month, but we changed. So now it's Hot Flash Friday, where I feature women in heavy music, and there's hella bands with women. So my current favorite right now, well, I have a few of them, but shout out to Era Screamer and Valdemar, and yeah, Grajo is awesome. Ratzinger, who are no longer together. Sociedad Alcoholica is awesome. Rosie Finch, I think they're from Madrid. Red Eye, they're from we went and saw this band, Red Eye, and I'm thrown off because the band had a G, and what are they called? Damn it. Gretel. That's it, Gretel. So we went to Granada, and in October of 2019, that would have been, because 2020 didn't exist, and it was erased. So yeah, it was just like this random band, and these two bands are from towns they're like 15 minutes away from where we live. So it's a killer metal scene in Spain. I encourage everybody to just look up, just go to metal archives and just look up Spanish metal. I mean, it's crazy. The metal scene there is popping, and it's all good. It's all good. We're gonna go see Valdemar. Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. They're doing a tour. So
everyone that I've ever talked to that's ever been to Portugal or ever been to Spain has always said how much they love it. And
Portugal is awesome.
In Portugal, I hear of people that talk about retiring there a lot. So it must be an amazing, both places must just be amazing.
We bounced back and forth, but like I said, I saw La Herradura on the map and just went that's where we're gonna go. And Marcus is like, slow your roll, just wait. And yeah, I was like, nope, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm just saying, remember that when we decided to live there, I said that we were going to live there months ago, and I was right.
And so both of you can work from home. You're both going to work from home. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
We had a lot of testing out there. So I think I've had this job that I'm in now a little over a year, and I guess a year and a half now, and a little over a year. And yeah, I've worked 9 months of this job from there. So just really because I wanted to make sure that I could do it, because it is a full-time job, and it was the first full-time job I had in 8 years by choice. And so I really wanted to make sure that I could actually do it, because I like my job. I like what I do. So yeah, the time zone is a little bit different, but it's a remote position and everybody's remote. So, I just set my hours to 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that way I'm not up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, like my husband is sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, pack your bags, sister, because you're invited.
Oh my gosh, I have to get a passport. I don't even have my passport expired years and years ago.
You know, that's just a minor hurdle. Walk your ass down to the passport office and apply for a passport.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, for sure. But what you might be stuck with me because I might not want to come back.
We have an
Oh,
apartment in our house. It's like a little, we were going to Airbnb it, but Spaniards don't like foreigners to make money, really. They're like, no.
oh, really?
It's cost prohibitive. Like if you are a citizen, I'm turning the phone off on my sound. I sound like I'm doing my show. I'm turning the sound off on my phone. Yeah, if you're a citizen, like you can rent places or do Airbnb, and you can, it's be like doing it here. You can make a little bit of money off it, but yeah, it's not worth it for us. And I'm kind of hella done with it. We did an Airbnb in California for a while, and like fewer interactions with strangers in my life is what I look forward to.
Yeah. How long have you been doing the Whizbanger show?
I started doing the shows about almost 7 years ago. I guess 7 years ago. I was doing it for another station. I won't name because I'm not going to say anything nice about them. So, except for that, now they're like defunct. So that's what they get. Because the station manager was a racist, homophobe, transphobic twat. He was an asshole. And everybody left anyway. I was just like part of a mass exodus of that place. And actually, two DJs from that station are at MMH now. They put us all in a row together. It's like Adam Onslaught and me and DJ Canatan. Yeah, so I did the Whizbanger show. God, I can't even remember. Oh, my friend Natalie actually got me into it. One of my Calgary family people got me into it, and I'd always wanted to be DJ. And I, grew up in Berkeley, so I grew up on CalX Radio, which is the UC Berkeley radio station, and very eclectic. You have people who will play like Merciful Fate, and then Vivaldi, and then Kate Bush, like all in the same track, in the same block, like that. So I grew up on really kind of just wildly eclectic music and on the radio, and I loved that station, and I always wanted to be a DJ. And I'm a writer and I'm an artist, but I'm not a musician. My dad's a musician, like a relatively sort of famous one, and I didn't inherit that talent. I was like, I can pick up any instrument and play it by ear, and then in 5 minutes I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I just like not into it. I didn't get into music, but I've been music obsessed since I popped out the chute, basically, like just always. And, always into rock and roll and heavy metal, and just got heavier and heavier in a very young age. But I just didn't want to play music. I don't know. I just didn't want to. I wanted to listen to it and see shows. And so, once I was like 13 or 14, I just always wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to be a wrestler. I wanted to be a roller derby girl. And I wanted to be a DJ.
Oh, wow.
I got to do 2 of those things.
That's quite the life.
So, so it just never happened for me. I had a lot of anxiety around people, like really bad. And as a young person, I didn't really understand it. I don't know. I still don't, I've been diagnosed with a couple of different things, and I diagnosed schmagmos. I know what freaks me out. I stay away from it. So, but the anxiety was like so insane and so intense that I would just like shrink away from it. And I just never got to do it. And it really scared me. And it was just like terror, like complete terror. Every time I would like go to apply to do it and go to try, and my friends would be like, come on, we're ready. We're going to hire, because they would have these ways of like training people at CalX, and, and I'd go to do it and I'd freak out. And then it's like embarrassing because you don't want to talk about how, you don't want to talk about your mental illness giving you humiliation. It's like a double whammy. It's like, awesome, great, thanks. And then you have to explain yourself and you don't want to, and then you're just an asshole because, then I got that. She's then it's just like I'm conceited or I'm stuck up or whatever. And I'm like, actually, I'm actually terrified right now. Please leave me alone. So it just got to that point, and every single time I went to do it, I would just be seized. So online DJing presented itself many, 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 many decades later. And it just ended up, I think it happened so quickly that I didn't have time to freak out. And then I just started doing it. And I absolutely loved it. I had 2 live shows a week, and it was kind of insane. But the schedule was crazy. When I was still like an active mother to a young person who's now long gone. But so it's just like, it just happened, and it was a terrible fit. The station manager, the straw that broke the camel's back, as it were. He was talking some shit about a musician who's trans, and just went on this tirade about like, how could he cut off his dick, and just completely, and I tried to engage in a way that was like not fighting him, but I agreed. I said, yeah, I don't know how a man could cut off his dick. I agree with you, except for that she's not a man. And it just went like right over his head. He just did it, and it just went on and on. And so my response, I decided, was to fight on the air. And so I had a queercore show where I just played, I was very Judas Priest forward. And I played every trans and every queer punk and metal band that I could find. And I don't even think they listened to it. And eventually I left. And then I took a long break, and then Adam Onslaught kept bugging me because he went over to MMH, and he's like, come on. And I'm like, I can't yet. And I was a little gun shy. And I just, again, it happened kind of similarly to the time before, where I just went, it just happened so quickly. I didn't have time really to think about it. It just was happening. And I had some weird hiccups in the beginning, like just some issues with the equipment, and things weren't working. And then I got busy. There's just like some weird things were getting in the way. And finally I just sat down. I was like, okay, let's just do it. So.
Yeah. And you mentioned writing. It's Andrew, you're a podcaster and a writer. And yeah, I'm on here with 2 writers and 2 podcasters, and I work at the post office.
Do you really?
Yes.
Like Men in Black, like there's aliens?
At the post
You're like, lift your
office.
head off and
yeah. So it's awesome. It's awesome, that you guys are doing what you love to do. I really admire that.
Sorry, aren't you like this amazing photographer though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And haven't you been like having all of us like survive on the lifeblood of Happy Hour with Heather and guests? Could you do me a favor and not sell my friend short? That would be awesome.
I often say that Heather is the engine of everything, or as Reggie Jackson once said, she's the straw that stirs the drink.
No.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I love your photos. And the only reason I haven't purchased anything of yours is that I'm like leaving the country, and I literally cannot take a sleeve of photo paper with me.
I know.
It's just,
I know, and you thought that, and you were selling a bunch of your art too.
I won't talk about it.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I ended up pulling back because I did this big like push to try and sell a bunch of the collage art and stuff, and then I was like, it was just too much. So some of it's packed. I'm leaving some stuff on my mother-in-law's, and then the other, I'm taking some of it with me.
Yeah,
I'll do it later. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I imagine you probably can't take much with you.
I'm taking a lot. It's really expensive to ship stuff there. Like, it's not worth it because you could just like you'd spend less money and get the same stuff, you know, it's like not worth it. But well, we're just like packing suitcases, you know, and paying for like extra luggage. It's not that much. It's not that much. It's affordable.
Yeah.
So, and we've been spent, you know, because we bought this house a little over 2 years ago. So the times that we've gone over there, and then we've like just brought our stuff there.
Yeah.
I keep going, I want to where's that purse? Where are those earrings? Where's like, oh yeah, it's in Spain. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, pretty soon you'll everything you'll be with. Everything will be all together, so that'll be good. What kind of writing do you do?
I am okay, so I do a lot of different writing, creative writing. Like, so I do some fiction and short stories, and I also have some of my memoir published. So I'm working on some memoir right now. I'm trying to just focus on one project at a time. It's just like a little crazy making. And then I also entered this contest, New York City Midnight. I don't know if you all know about it, but they give you like these prompts, and then you basically narrow it down and narrow it down and narrow it down. And they give you a genre and a place and an object, and then you have 48 hours to write it. And mine is due tonight at midnight. And I'm about halfway through. The genre I got was political satire, and I was like, really? How? It's not my wheelhouse at all.
That's a hard one. Yeah.
And the place is a merry-go-round. I don't know.
Yeah, satire is hard. I could see how
It's
any
fucked
kind of
up.
satire would be hard.
Right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ann Coulter are embracing on a merry-go-round. That's all I can say. That's what's happening in the story.
In the story?
I'm like, I just don't find anything in politics funny. I enjoy Jon Stewart. I enjoy the shit out of him. I think he's an absolute genius. But I don't have that funny bone because I think politics is like dark and scary.
Yeah.
I'm not able to make like a joke about it. And then my kid was like, what about Marjorie Taylor Greene? She's insane. And then I started looking at him, she's the QAnon person. I'm like, oh yeah, that you don't even have to like make fun of it. It just is. You just like repeat what she says, and therein lies the joke.
Yeah. Well, plus, I don't know, it seems like writing things down, you know, having a story where people have to read, you know, where they have to read the joke and you know, decide for themselves if it's funny. That's got to be
It's intimidating. Hard. Yeah. But so right now I am working on some memoirs. So that's my focus right now. And I'm writing about being the daughter of a parent with narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality, my mother. And so just there's a lot of trippy stuff in there because I don't remember a whole, like I had a lot of trauma as a child. And so there's like an enormous amount of my life that I don't remember. And so trying to, you know, kind of like unpack some of that stuff is frightening and also just really challenging because you're kind of trying to piece these memories together. And, you know, when you grow up in a household that's confusing, like constant confusion, it's really hard to, you know, it's hard to make sense of it. And then when you have a parent who, the one thing that she gave me was self-doubt. That's what my mother gave me. So I have this confused childhood. I don't remember a lot of it. And my mother really like cast this pall of just not self-doubt. So I have a hard time even believing my own memories. Like, did that really happen? And I often will like, someone will co-sign it for me that was there. Like that actually happened. And I'm like, I don't know. Did it really happen? And maybe I'm lying and maybe none of this is true. And of course it all is true. But so there's a lot of it, you know, memoir is really challenging when you're writing about like a difficult childhood because you don't know how much of it is real.
Do you have siblings?
I have two brothers. Yeah.
Two brothers.
Different dads.
Okay.
Yeah. They're 10 and 11 years older than me. And my brother John lives in Durango, and my brother Jinbei lives in Point Richmond, California. So I'm pretty close. Sorry.
Were they around with you? Well,
Not much. I mean, John, we all have very different relationships with mom. So, John Jinbei would bounce, like he was 14. He was like, bye-bye. He was gone. So he was 14, I was 4. And John was around a little bit, but not too much. So they were kind of around, but not really.
Yeah, because the reason I ask is because I ask my sister like about things, do you remember this, or do you remember that, or am I remembering this right? Or because she can remember stuff and I can't.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So yeah, lots of times I have to ask her, is this real? Am I remembering this correctly? So that's why I wondered if you had siblings that you could ask.
Yeah. It's hard because they have the same experience as I do, where they had a very confusing childhood and so I mean, I think Jinbei and we actually had to stop talking about mom together because our relationship as siblings has been, surviving our mother. And so we realized, I don't know, couple few years ago, we were on the phone and we realized, like, we don't even know one another. Like, our whole relationship has been based on talking about our mother. Like, we've never gotten to know one another. We've never, and it's a control mechanism that people with NPD do, right? And so it's like, if they make everybody obsess about them, then they're constantly like the center of attention. And then you're punished for giving them that attention, but that's a whole other thing. But like, so it's hard, because they don't always remember a situation, or they remember it differently because they experienced it differently. Right. And so it's hard. Like, memory is really kind of a trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Especially, things that happened so many years ago too. You have all these years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when the memories have been put away for so long, Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
And I think it's just, I just keep going back to confusion. And so, part of my writing style, so I don't want to never mind. I don't want to give everything away.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But it's rooted in confusion. And so that's kind of how I made it work, because I was like, I don't remember anything. How can I write a memoir? And then I realized, I have this, I can actually use that as a plot device, right? So.
Yeah, and Andrew's memoir was just published. So you guys have a lot in common. You have a lot.
I saw that. Andrew, did you self-publish?
I did. I had some success with some crime fiction through some small presses, but initially this one was going to have footnotes in it, and I figured that would be a tough sell to try and take it to a traditional place. So I thought I would go ahead and self-publish. And then by that time, it had become too difficult to edit with the footnotes. So I just removed the footnotes.
Oh, okay. And it's about like multiple things, right?
Yeah, I split it in comedy and tragedy.
Yeah, so, I was reading part of it.
So comedy is like online dating, misadventures, and the various day jobs I've had and becoming a teacher. And then the tragedy is I had a ruptured brain aneurysm 3 years ago. So the recovery from that. And yeah, I mean, it started out in different iterations. Like, I had thought it would be a travel journal. I taught in Asia for 2 years. So I thought it would be like a travel oriented thing. And then it just sort of kept morphing as I would have different life experiences. And Heather actually contributed the photo that became the cover.
I saw that too. That's pretty awesome.
So yeah. So my goal hopefully is that more people will see Heather's work and that will be the springboard to her getting, more licensing offers to have either album covers or book covers or what have you. But yeah, no, I ended up.
I might need a photo of like, some generic like foresty stuff. So
she's I help sometimes market her eBay store and her big cartel. So
yeah.
I mean, she's got a really great array of snow landscape photos, fields,
cool.
sunrises, sunsets, whatever you could want. I'm sure she could find something that'll fit the bill.
Right on.
Yeah,
I love your photos, Heather. They're awesome. They're just like really, it's really some beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You're bringing art to the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to bug you again about Pig Cartel. I know I had asked you about it before, but I feel like Etsy is now just kind of like the stuff that's on Etsy. It's more like mass manufactured stuff. Still awesome stuff. I think there's not a place for trippy, weird, like witchcrafts collage anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of sad because that's how it started, was a place where artists could put their work, and it got really commercial. Yeah, it's kind of a shame.
I know, and I'm just like paying. I mean, the price is like, it's like $1 a month, but still, I'm like, I don't want to give them anything anymore, but I can't deal with everything.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you with that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I'll take you up on that for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, awesome.
So Heather, you're going to co-host the Whizbanger show with me.
One of these days. Yeah. One of these days. My schedule. Oh, it's terrible. Especially as we get more towards like October is what we call our peak season at the post office. That's when things start getting insanely busy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I have to start working 7 days a week.
Yikes.
So my schedule is going to be a nightmare.
Well, we can do it whenever.
Yeah. So I do want to get together and do that with you. And
yeah, it'll be really fun. I'm excited. So we can we can do watching the sun go away. I'm like, are you staying? What's up? We can do like part of the stuff that's on your Bandcamp. I don't, the word demo is in my head, and I know like that compilation. Yeah, so it would be really cool to do, like, to celebrate, some of the bands that have been on Happy Hour with Heather and guests, and just kind of like talk about how that came about, and have the spotlight on you. That'd be awesome. I love doing co-hosts. I mean, I had Mo Royce from Tragedy, the all metal tribute to the Bee Gees and Beyond. He co-hosted with me last year, and then David from Neurosis. We went to high school together, so like he's an old pal, and he's gonna do one with me. We started to do one, and then I don't know, he was like sitting in his car. He was like, I'm just like, he was like in a bad mood. I'm all, dude, can we just do this? We'll just do this another time. It's cool. And then my kid did one with me. We're gonna do another one together. They want to do a goth show. So like this like very weird, like underground Russian goth that they find that they're into. I'm like, all right, cool. And then of course, Moon and Stars, who used to have Sound of the Underground, where she just presented underground black metal bands. So she doesn't do the show anymore. She did the show during lockdown, but she's like the head of the press department at MMH. And so she had to go back to doing that and went back to school, and she works, and she got too busy to do it. So I occasionally have her on, and we do Sound of the Whizbanger Underground is what we call it. And our next one is going to have like top 40 black metal. Like all the hits, the disco hits of black metal.
Well, I'll have to tune into that, because black metal is probably one of the genres of metal that I know the least about. I I've listened to some of it, but I don't know very much about it at all. So I'll have to tune into that because I would like to learn more about it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love it. I love some of it. Some of it I'm just confused by, but that's true for anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
lots of things confuse me. Yeah.
And I,
What's your
and I,
go-to? You're like super into Doom, right?
Yeah. I love Doom.
Same.
Yeah. And heavy psych, I'm really into. And
Same. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
have fun doing a show together. We'll end up having to do like multiple shows together.
That'll be awesome.
That's like that's my wheelhouse there. Like Doom, heavy psych, psychedelic Doom,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. When do you, are you going to self-publish your memoir or do you have a publisher?
Uh,
You don't know yet?
I don't know. I don't know. That stuff makes me nervous. Again, we get into like the, like have to communicate with people and then I freak out. So I don't know. The idea of self-publishing also kind of freaks me out because then, you really have to like deal with people. But it's not that I'm not a misanthrope by any means, just people frighten me. So I get a lot of social anxiety. So I don't know. But I have 3 pieces published in Memoir Magazine. And I'll send those to you later if you want. And then yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm trying to do the pieces and to see what happens. I'm in a couple of writing groups, and so we'll just see what happens. Right now, I haven't been writing, and because I've been really busy with moving and packing and kids and family and just all of that really takes up a lot of my emotional availability. So, and writing is emotional, so we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. I'd rather not deal with it at all and like pay somebody else to deal with all the stuff, like the agent part and the publishing part. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to go that route. I don't think I want to self-publish. Sounds like a lot of work.
How close are you to being finished with it?
I don't know.
Don't know.
A memoir is a trip, man. It's not like a novel where you have a story and a plot and an end and everything. Like I've written a couple of novels and I've written some short stories and they're at the phase where they need editing. So I haven't published those, but that's done. You know what I mean? It's like, now it's like, well, I can edit it. But with memoir, you're working with a confused set of confused childhood memories. And so you don't really know where it ends. When the memoir is done with me, I'll be done with it, I guess is the best way to think about it.
Yeah.
I'd like to have it finished, but I don't know because I can't see the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. And what else? What are your plans when you're spending time out with your son? What plans do you have out there?
Well, we're trying to figure out. So Devin's non-binary, so they are they, and so they told me to call them my spawn. I was like, my child, and
Spawn.
sounds weird, and my kid sounds weird, and they're like, call me your spawn. Well, okay, I can do that. So Devin, and we were thinking about going to Seattle for a couple days, but their schedule and their partner's schedule are just kind of crazy. They both work in so Yvonne, she works, they both work in retail. Let's see where they work, but and so it's just crazy. We couldn't get more than like a day and a half of free time. So we were going to go to Seattle and visit some pals, but it's just like, that's not going to work. So, because I don't want to go up there for a day and a half. And so I think we're going to go spend the day at the aquarium out in, is it Newport Beach? No. Is it Newport? Newport Beach is in LA. Newport, or I can't remember. Seaside. That's where we're going to go. So we're going to go spend a day in Seaside and go to the aquarium out there and feed the seals who slap their bellies if you like wave a little fish at them. And just like, we've been going out to dinner. I'm going on Monday. There's like a metal bar. I'm going to meet up with a couple of old friends that live here. So I'm doing a little bit of like hanging out with my friends. My girlfriend that I played roller derby with up in Seattle is on her way down here right now. We're going to go skate today.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's the second one. When you'd said the 2 out of 3 really happened, I was trying to figure out what professional wrestling. Okay, so roller derby. There we go.
I was never a gorgeous lady of wrestling, although I did have my dreams when I was 8 years old. I wanted that.
Yeah, I know. I would say that it's still a possibility.
No, God, no.
Okay.
No. When I was a teenager, I wanted to be a gorgeous lady of wrestling. When I was 8 years old, I wanted to play roller derby. I had that wrong. No.
May I ask what your name was when you were
Bomb Scott?
Okay.
I played bank track roller derby, and they call it like bombing the track. And as a little girl, I loved Bon Scott, so my derby name was Bomb Scott, and my roller derby number was RIP 213. Whatever year he 91, no 81. I don't remember 81. I can't remember whatever year it was that he died.
Gotcha. Well, I can sort of take this conversation as being a win now that I've spoken to somebody who does what you do, is moving to Spain, participated in roller derby. I mean, I'm checking all the things off of my list. So this is incredible.
I don't know. What else did you have on your list?
No, I mean, I'm leaving it the rest open-ended, because I'm sure you'll mention something that will blow my mind, just as well.
I'm a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there we go.
Not a doctor. I can't I can't cure you or anything.
Yeah, no, but
I have a doctorate.
It still counts.
It's old. It's an old doctorate. It's collected dust at this point. Although I do have my job because of it. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I can't say, a lot of people, PhD is not the easiest thing to acquire. So that's awesome.
I don't recommend it to anybody.
No.
In fact, I recommend not getting your PhD.
Why is that?
Because it's so you're asking me to get into the weeds of anarchy, and I don't want to do
that. Okay.
I mean, it's higher education is not valued, right? It's like education is not valued in the United States. And so the job itself is, the jobs are, cost this much money to get a doctorate, and then you make this much money with it. So
yeah,
it's just yeah.
You're doing it more for yourself though, aren't you, when you go for a PhD?
To be honest with you, I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I dropped out of high school. When I was 15, and I had no sort of academic mentors. It wasn't like my daddy was a PhD and my mommy was a school teacher, or it's nothing like that, or the other way around. And so I come from on my dad's side of the family. The woman I was named after, my great grandma Sara, she was an anarchist in New York City. So I come from this long line of Jewish anarchists, and that's kind of like what drives me. And she was a total badass, and they were amazing. And there's all kind of, my uncle tells me all these crazy stories, and it's like, oh, and the anarchists, and I'm like, it's so cool. And so, I knew I wanted to go to college, but I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what it even meant. I just didn't want to be in high school anymore. So I just wanted to hurry up. And I basically wanted to do anything that I could to get away from my mom. And so dropped out of high school, started working, fiddle farted around, went to college, got pregnant, decided that I wanted to raise my kid. I didn't want to put my kid in daycare. I never understood that for me, and I know that's the unpopular opinion, but I didn't want to have a kid and put them in daycare and so that somebody else could raise them. So I stayed in college, went to graduate school, went to more graduate school, and so that I could have them with me because I wanted to raise them. I didn't want to put them in daycare 9 to 5, 5 days a week. It's not worth it to me. Like, what's the point of having a kid? So that's kind of how I ended up with a doctorate. To be honest, I don't know that if I had not had Devin, I don't know that I would have gone that route. I was always smart as a kid, even though I was never valued for it. So I knew that was what I had. That was my ammunition for life, was that I was smart. And so that's the only reason, it's the only thing I could do. And where I could like still be with my kid most of the time, other than like, sharing babysitters with other moms in the area and other family. Yeah. So, and then it just that's what I ended up doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's amazing. Your story, when your memoir comes out, I definitely want to read it.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to the couple pieces that I have published, though.
Oh, okay.
So you can read those.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds you're everything that you do, it sounds really amazing. So yeah, it's gonna be.
This is very kind of you to say.
Yeah, well, we're almost coming up to an hour. We have like 5 more minutes. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about while you're here with us?
I don't know. You ask me. What do you want to know?
Well, I can't think of anything else. Andrew, can you think of anything?
Well, so you're going to continue to do the show, or it's continuing now, but it'll once you get established in Spain, that's sort of, I guess, you'll be hitting the ground running already.
With the show?
Yeah.
The Whizbanger show will continue in perpetuity.
Right. And Hot Flashes on Friday will also continue.
Well, so my show is on Fridays, so 2 to 4 PST, 10 to midnight GMT, 9 to 1 a.m. 11 to 1 a.m. in Spain, which is like, I might put in for a time change. So Hot Flash Friday, where I feature women in heavy music. It's irregular, of course, and Heather will get that. And it's so I just kind of do it every now and then, every like 5 weeks or so. I'll just, whenever I feel like it, I'll do a Hot Flash Friday. So my show is always on Fridays, but I do a lot of different specials. And so like, for the most part, like if it's an unthemed show, it's just Doom. It's like Doom or Psych or, Black and Doomed or Doomy Thrash. Again, Doom is, it's Doom forward. But then I'll do specials. So, I did a no metal show, which was really fun because I got to play like hip hop and blues and just stuff like that. It was cool. And then, and just like some, I don't know, I played like Air Conqueré and other stuff. And anyway, and then I'll do like, I did like a psychedelic show. I've done a new wave of British heavy metal show. When COVID hit, when we were all locked down, I did like decades. And so I did a show, I did a 60s, 70s, like 280 shows. Like so I do like these themes. But then otherwise I just do like regular shows too. So I always look for something interesting from the Whizbanger show, because there's always some weird thing that I'm doing. I will be doing another Spanish metal show to celebrate being in Spain. So I've only done one, although I play bands from Spain all the time. But I really want to do like different countries, like different focus on different countries. So I've done a Spanish metal show. I've done a Canadian metal show, and that was super fun. And in Canada, they love their power metal in Canada. They love it. So I was like, oh, there's a lot of power metal. I don't know if it's just me that has a lot of power metal, because I love it. I also did a power metal show. And I do covers, cover shows too. So it's very eclectic. The Whizbanger show I like to call is the eclectic aesthetic. It's very different. You never know what to expect. And so yeah, for sure more Hot Flash Fridays, but they're never scheduled. They're just whenever I feel like it. And more co-host shows. So Mo Royce and Disco Mountain Man are gonna come on as co-hosts for the Whizbanger show. Those are the guys from Tragedy, the all metal tribute to the Bee Gees and beyond. Dave Ed eventually from Neurosis will be on the show. Heather is gonna come on the show. I've got another show with my kid, and then of course we have the Sound of the Whizbanger Underground. Every few months we do a show together. So it's all black metal. I think our next one is going to be unknown black metal bands. That's unsigned, unknown, independent, things like that. Yeah.
Well, that sounds awesome.
I love it. It's just super fun. So I'm absolutely going to continue. I mean, they're based in Birmingham in the UK. So that's where all of them are. And then there's me, and then Jesse Luscious, who used to be DJ on Calyx, and him and his wife now live in Nottingham. So they're in that area. She's getting her PhD in like forensic something or other. I can't remember what. And then DJ Canatan is in Canada. The rest of them are all in the UK. They're all in that area, in the Midlands area. So in November, there's a 10-year anniversary. So you can come if you want to. It's just, I think it's just outside of, it's in a place called Digbeth. I think it's just outside of Birmingham or in that area. So
Wow.
you're invited November 5th.
Oh, thank you. Well,
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to continue it.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
thank you for coming on and talking with us. And this has been a lot of fun. Thank you. And good luck. Good luck with everything and all your travels. And
Thanks, Heather.
I wish you the best.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be in touch. Yeah. Sorry. Go.
I was just going to say, keep blazing a path for everyone, because you're really, I certainly look to you. I'm sure Heather does, as, someone who's really making a difference in this game. So thank you for that.
Oh, thanks. That's really nice of you to say.
All right. Well, I'm going to sign off.
All right, Miss Heather.
All right.
Take
Have
care.
a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.